Oh, wait. Check it out. It's a mini Kylo Ren's ship. And we've got the Milano as well. This guy's really cool. Tilts up and down, kind of like how it's angled in the movies. Wings adjust. And if you ever need to quick escape, the back comes off. Pretty sweet. Guys, Lego is so great. These little guys, usually you find them for free if you make a certain purchase order on Lego's website, but I picked these up at Toys R Us. They sell them for like $5, so you can get just mini versions. They're obviously not as cool as the full-size ships, but those ones are hundreds of dollars, and these are $5. I can add them to my collection back there, and yeah. Anyways, let's get on with today's episode. So I guess this is becoming more of a bi-weekly thing. That's okay. I'm still hoping to do these videos quite regularly. So if there's ever something that you would like to know more about and you think I might know about it, shoot me a message and we could maybe turn it into a future episode. Anyhow, today's episode is going to be about online advertisements. Now, this isn't going to be related to my first episode, which was about Facebook giveaways, not those kinds of advertisements, but I'm talking specifically about things like posts on Kijiji, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, stuff of that nature. So there are, again, a couple of points that I want to make. And the first point overall is you need to be able to communicate to the rest of the viewers what you are selling. So first of all, if you go online and you post an ad about something that you're selling, you want to actually see the product. So don't create an ad and don't put up any photos. I'm sure you know at least somebody that has a camera or a camera on their phone, even if you don't. So borrow them for 5 minutes and take a couple of photos. It's not that hard. I don't want to see this no image thumbnail when I go to view your ad. That is the worst. It doesn't tell me anything, but we'll get into a little bit more about photos later on. And secondly, did you know that people sell food on Kijiji? Like home-baked food. That's a thing? Is that a thing? Can I just, you mean I don't need a business license? I can just sell food? Isn't that like kind of like a business? Isn't that like income at that point? I don't know where people get these ideas from that other people, strangers, are gonna want to buy their random food that they've made out of their house. Maybe this is a trend that I missed. Kijiji and Facebook are the two places that I look at most often, but you could also be on eBay or Craigslist or other such places. Bottom line is, if you're selling food directly out of your home, that's kind of weird. It's almost always like spring rolls or cookies, so it's really odd. I don't recommend trying to sell food out of your house. I mean, if you want to get a job or start your own business, you should start your own business. Anyways, maybe I'll just leave that alone for now. That's just mind-blowing to me that people think to do that. And I don't know who the people are that are buying from them either. Anyways, part of what you're selling is also the price of the product that you're selling. And so when you see an ad that's listed as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like $12,345, usually that alerts whoever's looking at the ad that there are various items included in that ad and they range in price. But it also isn't too hard to put up a few separate ads for a few separate items. I understand if you want to unload everything at once, but maybe put an image right at the very end of that ad that has all of the items available, and then just make a comment in the description about other items being available through the same seller. There's usually a place to click to see the seller's other items, so I wouldn't make a habit of putting 100 different unrelated items into the same post, because then people just breeze past it or they don't even scroll all the way through. It's just too much. On the desktop, it might be a little bit easier to look at, but most likely people are using their mobile devices and they don't want to be scrolling through pages and pages and pages of stuff. Then I've also seen people post things for free, And I think it's probably 50% of the time it's free, but when you click into it, you see at the very top of the ad, it says wanted. I'm not sure if every different platform has a spot for looking for items, but there are a few that do have specific categories to list those in. So don't post in the selling guitars category and post free and a picture of a guitar just to get a view. Because first of all, it's not like YouTube. You're not making any ad money off of those clicks. You're just wasting people's time. Second of all, it's just false advertising. It's not actually free. It's not actually the item that you're selling. When you're looking for something, there often are specific places to list those. So go by that system, and that way it makes everybody's feed just a lot cleaner and doesn't get all filled up with all of these ads that aren't actually people selling things. And then the flip side of that is they won't put the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as the price. They'll just put the lowest price on one of the items. So again, you click on that and you see a whole list of items, and maybe one of them is $5, but the rest are all 40 or 50. Like, again, that's wasting people's time. I would consider that false advertising. I know that there aren't people coming to knock on your door if you post something that's a little bit higher of a price in the description than what it says in the title. But still, just be respectful to others and either post those items separately, like I mentioned before, or maybe give like an average price or like the middle price for some of those items, or the price of most of the items if they're all, you know, one's 5, one's 20, and the rest are all 15 or something like that. Okay, the second point is photos. Now, photographs are probably the most important thing when it comes to advertisements. I might change my mind on that later. If there's no description of the item, and if there's no price and nothing else, and it just says a title and it shows a couple of photos of the item that you're selling, right away it gives you a pretty good impression of the place in which it was used. For example, if you're looking to buy a board game and you see it sitting on a shelf or sitting on a table all by itself, maybe a couple of shots with the game pieces out and kind of spread around so that you can see that it has everything, or at least most from what you can tell, that's a pretty good indication that it's going to be a good quality game. It's not a guaranteed thing, but it's a pretty good indication, as opposed to just a photo of some kid's toy box that has Duplo and Barbie dolls and dump trucks, and then maybe this like game of Sorry just kind of crammed into the middle of that. Are you gonna really want to buy that? Probably not. That's a little bit about how a photo can tell the history of an object. Personally, I prefer to take all of my photos landscape because that just makes it easier to see. Now, the frustrating thing that I have found about the Kijiji app is when you're looking through it on your phone, all of the images are cropped. So they all crop them to, I think, a square, very similar to Instagram. But when you tap on the photo, then it expands and you can see the full vertical or horizontal image. I just kind of wish that they did a better job of being able to show that in the app itself without having to click into each image itself. Again, this is all my own opinion, but I don't mind certain photos being taken vertically. If you have a really tall object, like you're selling a coat rack or something like that, obviously you don't want to take the photo horizontally. You also don't want to upload the photo horizontally, which also brings me to the next comment in this point, and that's about making sure that the orientation of your photos, whether you're taking them or you're uploading them, are correct. I know some people like to just grab their phones and like take a bunch of photos and then upload it straight from their phone. But you have to at least take the time to rotate the images in camera, because sometimes your camera flips its orientation when you have your phone tilted too far to the left or right, or too far back or down. So you just need to be aware of that. It's all about, like, I'm not going to look at a photo of an ad for a house that has the house completely upside down. That doesn't give me, I'm trying to turn my phone, and then I'm also trying to figure out how to orientate your phone properly. Oh, and it's just all really a bit of a mess, and it could all be avoided if you simply upload the photo with the correct orientation. Takes a couple of extra seconds, but it's worth it for the sake of the rest of us, okay? Please. And then multiple photos. Multiple photos are really nice. Again, what I prefer to do is when I'm selling something like a printer that I just finished selling, I took several photos from different orientations, and I also took a couple of photos up close of the different surfaces on the printer, for instance, like the scanner glass and the keypads so you can see the touch wear and tear. Just things like that. I just got up real close. I used a better camera. I used my DSLR as opposed to just my phone. And I actually took some time and went into Photoshop and color edited the photos just to make them look a little bit more inviting, because it's all about how to advertise properly. I'm a firm believer that if you do a good job of that, then your stuff is going to fly off the shelf, or even if it doesn't sell immediately, like this printer took a couple of months to sell, but I like to believe that it stood out from the rest of the printers that were available for sale secondhand, because it looked like there was actually some effort taken going into the photos of it. Now, certain services will only allow you to upload a certain amount of photos, and so that's where you're going to have to pick and choose. But using multiple photos, especially when selling some tech equipment or a house, multiple photos is really the way to go. It really gives the person that's viewing your ad the bigger picture of what they are looking at, and while they still might elect to come and see the item before confirming that they're going to buy it, at least they have an idea of what to compare that personal interaction with the item or location to the photos that you just saw. If there's no scratches on this, but then they come and see it and there's a bunch of scratches, or there's vice versa, that may make you want to change your mind or negotiate a price or what have you. Now, the only time that I think that multiple pictures are completely unnecessary is when several have been uploaded, probably from someone's phone, and there's just the same photo uploaded a couple of times. At least pay attention to what you're doing, and don't just upload a photo and the difference is this to this. This far closer to the photo doesn't constitute as another angle or a better look. You need to get right into the photo, right up to the product, and get a good, clear photo of it. And that is what gives the person that's viewing it more information. Okay, and then the last part is all about details, and that's why there's always a description box at the bottom or the side that you can fill out with information. If there's still warranty remaining on whatever the item is, throw that in there, because that's a selling feature. Add in any of the items that don't normally come with it but that are included. Add in the items that do normally come with it, because chances are you're not selling it brand new. There is the odd time when you see a Fitbit or something that somebody has received and unopened, but usually these are open box items on websites where people are selling them, so you want to make sure you know exactly what you're paying for and whether it's worth your money or not. You want to have things listed like the condition, maybe again the location that it was used in, whether it's smoke-free or pet-free is a pretty popular one that I see. The wear and tear on it, how many years you've been using it, or what you used it for, even if you only used it for a little while. The only thing that I really think is unnecessary is when people comment about why they're selling it. I understand that they want to use that as a selling feature, so I'm not going to really knock it, but I don't really care if your dad bought you a brand new car, so you're getting rid of the one from last year that he bought you brand new. But I can understand why people gravitate towards knowing why you actually bought it. In most cases, I actually get asked the question, why are you selling this? Especially if it is X number of years old. They want to be sure that there's not a defect, and I guess they expect that you're not going to lie when you ask them the question straight up. So be honest, but I also don't really find that point necessary to include it all. And then finally, like I said, if you're adding a whole bunch of items into one ad, you can just copy and paste a link to your other ads, or maybe explain, hey, go to my profile, click on it, and see the other ads available from me. I realize that selling stuff online isn't in itself a business, so all of these are little nitpicky things that I prefer to see, but to other people might watch this video and still not care. That's fine. This is really just about things that I've noticed that can be improved upon and will likely help improve your ad, unless we're talking about spring rolls. So anyway, that's it for today. We will see you in another week or two, depending on what my schedule ends up looking like. Thanks for hanging in there, and catch you next time. Man, I really want some spring rolls now.